What is going on, people? Welcome to the Midwest Mike Sports Show. I'm your host, Mike Klean, and I am joined here by the one, the only Midwest Mike. What's going on, buddy?
Not too much, man. Rough night last night.
Just a bloodbath.
Yeah, just terrible.
No good.
Terrible.
No good. But how you feeling mentally? How's everything going?
I'm good. I think tonight will be big, man. I like the slate a lot. Got another college basketball play I'll be posting here in a sec. Yeah. So
lovely. I do like what is up.
I like the card. Yeah, I got a lot of 2-unit plays. A couple of them probably could be 3-unit plays, but just playing a little more conservative, and then have a 4-unit NBA play of the day that I love. If it loses, it loses, but I love it. So
I love it too.
Yeah,
I love it too. I love it so much.
Everything's there. Yeah, everything's there to say to take it. Obviously it's gambling at the end of the day. Anything can happen, but that's why I'm doing 4 units on it. I don't give a shit. I'm not overthinking it. Yesterday was frustrating because not just the leans that I posted, but a lot of other games like that I liked, but obviously didn't touch hit.
Right.
So just one of those days. Everything I played lost, and everything else I liked, most of it won. So,
yep. And it's not the first time that's happened. And it probably won't be the last.
I've had like 10 of these 20-unit down days probably in 4 years. So
right.
It happens. Stars were up 3-0, blow a 3-0 lead. Blackhawks score 4 unanswered goals versus one of the best goalies in the league with one of the worst offenses. It happens. Southern Miss was up 2 with a minute to go, lost the game. Loyola, if you watch the end of that game, I got a question for you. I think I should be a college basketball coach. They took a 3, missed it. Guy gets the rebound under the hoop. Rather than hitting the layup and going down 1 with 13 seconds left and fouling, he passes up on the layup, which you could have also got fouled on and got an and 1 and got a 3-point play. Anyways,
right.
But he passes that up, throws it back out. They do another 3, miss it. There's 7 seconds left. They foul. The guy makes 2 free throws. 5-point game, right? They go down there, make a 3. It's a 2-point game. They foul. The guy misses the next 2 free throws. So my thinking before all that happened was, why did you pass up the layup? You go down 1, you foul, right? The guy makes both free throws. You hit that 3. It's a tie game. Versus losing by 2. And we had +1, and my book had +1. Heritage had +2. So a lot of you maybe pushed that one. I don't know why my book was a point off on that one, but it was. So I lost that one by a point. Some of the other ones were just off, but yeah, man. Sums up the day. Had leans on the Islanders under, Belmont, Dayton. Well, and I'm actually somewhat, the only reason I'm not happy the Stars lost. Obviously, we wanted them, but the only silver lining in that is the UCF. I was going back and forth between UCF, Dayton, and Morehead State as the last leg in that parlay. So had the Stars won, I would have been really pissed, because that's why I listed that as a lean, the Dayton and Morehead State 2-team parlay, because those were the 3 legs and the other 2 hit. So that's only, like, I would have really kicked myself on that, because that would have been a 7-unit swing too on that parlay. Had the Stars won. So that actually made me feel a little bit better that they lost, just honestly. And we had dropped, I think, 2 or 3 parlays by 1 leg. Just one of those days, man.
One of those days.
Absolutely. They happen. I'm a clown. I suck. I don't know what I'm doing. Blah, blah, blah.
The worst ever.
Today we'll go however many plays I have and make 10 units, and then it is what it is. So
yeah, it is what it is. But we move forward, and we also have Zach returning. Wants to give us a play here. So Zach, welcome back. How you doing, buddy?
Hey guys, welcome to a little bit of a wake up for everybody. I think that it'll be funny because this kind of stuff happens in the industry, and for anybody watching, these guys are so transparent. You guys don't understand that 90% of the cappers I watch, they'll post their 2 big straights they hit, they say, for whales, and they'll not show when they go on 4 or 5 day losing streaks. You don't find this type of stuff in the industry, but it happens. So shout out to you guys for staying transparent, because that was messy.
For sure, man.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
The one I really liked today, as I was going through the slate, got a snow day here in the Midwest, so I had time to research this morning.
Yeah, we got fucking almost 2 feet of snow, man. I still got to go plow the driveway.
Yeah, I got to go out and do that too. And I just think that Wichita State is the team that shows up tonight. I think with the tournament kind of on the line, everyone's going to be on Memphis. Kendrick Davis, don't know if he's in or out. Line jump from 3-2 in favor of Wichita.
Yeah, after you emailed it, I looked at it. Wichita's getting a ton of sharp money. The big question mark is Kendrick Davis. I mean, they're really good when he's in there, and they're really inefficient when he's not. Let me pull up the splits here that I got. Yeah, Wichita's getting 41% of tickets, but 87% of the money. So 46% disparity between tickets and money. Memphis is getting almost 60% of tickets and just 13% of the money. And then on the money line, that's where people are betting Memphis is on the money line, 80% tickets, 68% money. But that spread, sharps are all over Wichita in the spread. And yeah, I like it, especially if Davis doesn't play. I like it a lot. If he does play, I'd probably still like it. I mean, them at home. But if he doesn't play, I think it's a really good pick for sure.
I think that line could jump all the way to -150 if he doesn't play. And Wichita's been playing good ball, and they lost by 10 to him the first time with Kendrick Davis. I think Williams went for like 30 and 15 in that game. I don't see it happening again. And even with Wichita, I think they're under 500, maybe 6-7 at home or 7-8 at home. So it's not like they're ridiculous on home court, but I also think that positive side, I think they got to get a home win, and everyone's going to.
It's a big game for them. They should have a packed stadium, packed arena. I mean, it's a big game, Memphis, Wichita.
Memphis can be questionable on the road. You never know when they're going to show up. My buddy's down in Texas. He was saying he has the Action Plus or whatever, and was saying, 90% something money on Wichita with only 30-40% of the tickets earlier today. I was just like, I'm all over it. I like some of your spots today. I think we're due for a big bounce back. So never stress it. Never stress it over here.
No, I you just got to stick to the process. The Stars blowing a 3-0 lead. I mean, the Blackhawks winning 4 or 5 straight now.
Insane.
I mean, it was the same spot as the Oilers going against who'd they play? I don't even remember now.
The Rangers, when they were up 4-1 at the end of the first.
No, not that one. The one we just hit them on. There was a bad team that had won. The Flyers.
Yeah, silly.
They were coming off that win against Calgary. It was a bad spot for them. Road trip, all that stuff. And that's when we had Edmonton. So it was a similar spot. Chicago on the road, been winning some games. Dallas had lost 2 in a row. They're rested. You got one of the best goalies in the league in net versus one of the shittiest offenses. I like the spot a lot. Got a good line on it and everything. And same shit, man. Up 3-0, and they score 4 unanswered goals. Same thing as the Oilers on Friday night. It's just
the NHL can be so weird, and I feel like there's something about it. Every time a team gets to that -400, -350 checkpoint, it's like almost 40% of the time it seems like the underdog somehow comes out and wins. Just because it's hockey, you can go off the post and in. It never really has a crazy, unpredictable sport.
Yeah, the one thing to look at is live betting in those spots. At the end of the first, or even some of those teams like Flames and Oilers, they blow leads in the third, and in the third you can get crazy plus money if they're up a couple goals. I mean, I'm talking up over plus 1,000. You know what I mean? You can put a quarter unit on it to win 2-3 units. So might start doing some of that. I mean, it's worth the risk. Quarter unit to win 2 or 3 units on a team coming back versus a team that's notoriously sold in the third period over and over and over. You only need to hit 1 out of every 10.
8 to 10 are good.
Yeah, it's a profit. So
I think NHL is nuts. It's a crazy sport. It's so tough to predict. Yeah, it's a sport I don't really bet on a whole lot, but I also watch a ton. So it's you get in some tough spots. You're like, oh, I like this team. You want to play it. You just never know how a team's feeling. I think back-to-back road games I look at a lot, especially at the Wild. Like there was that one earlier this year. It was like the Lightning had played Colorado, went to Minnesota. It was an 8:30 night game, and they Wild blew them out 5-1, and I was all over the Wild.
Yeah.
So I think that's really the only edge I see in NHL is those back-to-back games. Seems like home.
Yeah, but a lot of times, sometimes those back-to-back games though can bite you too. They'll
It's so tricky.
just pull it out. I like
Lot of
tonight's
variables.
NHL spot. I got one NHL spot tonight. Similar situation, hot team, but we'll see.
Hopefully NBA back helps us out a little bit. I think NBA is overdue for a run. A lot of good spots tonight, like your write-ups. I think they're right. I think right there.
Yeah, that for you today, like I say, if it loses, it loses, but I don't see it losing. I love the play, and that's why I'm putting 4 units on it. I mean, I think if that game's played 10 times, it hits at least 7 times. You know what I mean? So,
and Foot's got to stay on the gas. You've been killing it. You had one down day. Everyone's going to be doing the clown emojis. They're going to be thinking that, but they don't they don't realize where the transparency is in the industry. You don't get to see it. Especially,
you know what? There's one guy last night who accused me of omitting losses and doing fake recaps because I had a bad day yesterday. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, well, you'll see the recap 7 times, twice on Telegram at night. I didn't do it last night just because I was so pissed off. I posted it this morning and then posted the visual on Telegram chalkboard and then posted on Instagram, Twitter, and then the free play video on TikTok. You'll see it again 7 times. I post the same recap. So and it'll be to a T like it is every single day. So it is what it is.
Keep doing. You don't take the foot off the gas. You're in the right spot. You know what you're doing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, man.
Well, Zach, thank you for joining us, bro. I appreciate it. And let's cash.
Yeah, hopefully we can talk here soon. I'll be back on.
Absolutely,
for
man.
Sure.
Welcome anytime.
All right, guys, take care. Let's get it tonight.
Let's do it. Take care, buddy.
Sir.
Awesome. We got some comments in here. Our guy Jaden, chin up, Mike. You got this. Appreciate you being here, buddy.
Got a lot of month left, so not
a
worried
lot
about
of
it.
time. Keep your head up. Awesome. Ryan's thinking that the Blackhawks need some testing after these last couple games. They're playing good. They're playing good. Kane's stock is rising as there was a lot of questions about his injury with his hip that they're kind of hiding. Just overall his production's been down this year. I mean, there's not really much more you can say about it, but his stock is rising a bit. So if he does decide to move, Blackhawks might be in a better spot to get a little bit more. We'll see.
Yeah.
Here is a question from Phil. Why do you pay minus 140?
Like that one play today, for example, a spread of 2.5. The money line should be minus 155. So there's simply 15 cents of value there at the minus 140. So anything in basketball at minus 2.5, the money line is supposed to be priced at 155, and they have it priced at 140. So rather than buying a half point and playing -2 at minus 120, I'll pay the extra 20 cents and get the full 2.5 points on the money line. So that's why. Now, if it was -2.5 and the money line was even probably minus 150, then I do the -2 at minus 120. But I'm getting what's supposed to be at minus 155 at minus 140. That's 15 cents of value to me. So that's the way I look at it. That's why I played that one the way that I did. So.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Okay, let's do this one. Yellow Man, Stanford, Washington State under. Think about that spot.
Let's look at it. I know Stanford's getting pounded. The spread's at 2. It's staying put there. I mean, they're getting all the money on the spread and the money line. Washington State's a good team. The over-under, Looks like it opened at 135. It's at 134. Over's got 48% tickets, 59% of the money. It dropped a point. Let me check one other thing. Where is it? If I had to lean, I'd probably say under. Another thing that I look at for totals has a pretty strong lean on the under, and it kind of makes sense. The over's got more money, and the line reversed a full point. So, I mean, I would, before doing anything on it, would want to break down each team, offense, defense, see how they match up, look at previous head-to-head, their previous games and all that stuff. But just off the cuff, I would lean under if you're looking to bet the total there. So
there you go. Here's a question from T. Baker. How do you handle the ups and downs, Mike?
I'm just curious how you handle it. You got to realize bad days are going to happen. It's just part of the game. It's inevitable. I've talked about this lots of times, comparing this to the stock market. Some people agree, some people don't, but I think it's just like the stock market. You have a bankroll, you're sports investing. Your investment is the plays each day, right? A unit's 1% of your bankroll. So if it's 2-unit play, you're investing 2% of your bankroll into that play, just like you would a stock. Maybe you got 10 grand that you're going to invest in stocks, and you put 20% in this stock, 30% in this stock. You're expecting a return, but you're expecting a return over time. You're not expecting a 50% return. I'm going to buy a stock today and cash out tomorrow and get rich overnight. It's the same thing with this. The good thing is, I mean, we were up almost heading into yesterday. We were up almost 34 units, and that's after we slid a little bit. We had done a 50-unit run in 2 weeks, and then been back and forth here for the last 10 days, 2 weeks. But I look at it just like that. Just like the stock market, there's ups, downs. Each day your stock is either up or down, a percentage. Well, it's the same thing with this. The day before we were up 5%, and yesterday we had a bloodbath and we're down 20%. But that's why I also say the days don't matter. People are like, what do you mean the days don't matter? They do matter, but they don't. Consistent days and stuff put together consistent weeks, months, and a year. So, and this is why I say days don't matter. Like, what if we finished up 40 units this week and we had a 20-unit down day? Does that 20-unit down day really matter? This, on the other hand, is true. What if I was up 40 units going into yesterday, and yesterday we lost 80 units? Would I come on here and pipe that I was up 40 units before that? No, because it doesn't matter. We're down, whatever. So yesterday doesn't really matter in the big picture of things. It does, but it doesn't. It matters where we finish out the week, where we finish out the month. That's ultimately what matters. I could have a 50-unit day today, and what if Sunday we dropped 100 units? Then did today's 50-unit day really matter? Not really. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yep. So they do matter, but they don't. It's just, obviously you got to win more days, more weeks, more months than not to have a profitable year. And that's ultimately what it's all about. Like the year that I had 250 unit year, I had a down month that was over 40 units. So some people look at that month and say, oh my God, you suck, blah, 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 blah. Well, you're not thinking of it big picture. Like this, guess what, guys? I don't give a shit if I have a month that's down 40 units. I only care about making 300 plus units. That's my goal this year, is 300 plus units. That's what I care about. Now, whether I get 100 one month, 10 another month, 5 another month, down 21 month, who knows how it's going to play out. But it just matters about being up over time, just like a stock, up over time. I don't give a shit if my stock's down today, if it's up 20% 6 months from now. You know what I mean? That's the way you got to look at it. So, and that's why I use that stockbroker analogy. Like we're up going into yesterday, we're up 34 units in 35 days. And then we had Like when we have a down day of 8 units and people are bitching about that, it's like you wouldn't call your stockbroker and bitch about the stock going down 8% when it's still up 34% over the last 5 weeks. You see what I'm saying? So that's just kind of the way that I think of this and stuff. But the big thing is you got to take losses on the chin and move on, not chase, not, oh my God, it's a bloodbath. What's the last 10 p.m. college basketball Boise State game, which I'm just going to pick a side and hope for the best.
Any Russian table tennis available?
Just take the loss on the chin and move on to the next day. That's the beauty of it. People just get emotional because there's money involved. It's simple as that. And there's a lot of people that are betting money they can't afford to lose, and that's why they get emotional. You see it all the time. But if you're doing it right and you have a system and you have a bankroll, it's easier not to get emotional because, I mean, yeah, losing sucks, obviously, and we're all competitors and want to win every night, every play. But This is not the reality of it. So, but
absolutely,
yeah, stock
man.
market's the best analogy that I can use, and hopefully that makes sense to you. That's just the way that I look at it. So,
perfect. Love it. Here's a question from Tyler. I think he's talking about those live spots for hockey. So you want to just explain that?
Yeah.
A little bit
So
more?
like say, like for example, the Oilers the other night, we had them, they're up 4-1 at the end of the first period. I'm saying sometimes later in the game in the third period, because obviously the Oilers 4-1 at the end of the first, the live odds on the other team are going to be less than in the third period when you're down 2 or 3 goals. You see what I'm saying? So the first period, it might be plus 550 to come back and win. Well, in the third period, down, first period down 3 goals might be like plus 550, plus 600, depending on the team. Third period, maybe you're down 2 goals now. Well, you might be getting plus 1,200 odds down 2 goals in the third. And teams like the Flames and Oilers, they've done it. I mean, we just had the Flames last week, guys. They're up 3-1 with 2 minutes left and blew the game. You imagine the odds at plus money on that? I mean, we're talking plus 20,000.
Yeah. Easy.
So, I mean, you could literally sprinkle a tenth of a unit in some of those spots, and you don't have to hit many of them to profit. And that's what it's all about. It's all about profiting. It's not betting everyone and expecting to hit everyone. It's, hey, if I do this bet 10 times and I hit 2 of them, I'm going to make X amount of units. You know what I mean? Depending on the odds. So there is live betting spots. Obviously, I won't be able to go on and post it on the website and all that stuff. So it'll be just something I'll message out on Telegram and Chalkboard and stuff. Like, hey, I like this. Do it if you want.
Right.
But I'm going to start live betting some of those spots versus some of those teams that are just, I mean, the Oilers have blown lead after lead after lead after lead. Luckily, the other night they did the opposite and they came back and actually covered the puck line in the third. But I think they had 3 or 4 straight overtime, like shootout losses before that game, which is just insane. And they had leads in almost every single one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So just looking for spots like that. So.
Absolutely, man. There's a lot of money to be made there, but also you get caught up in it. And if you're not doing it right and risking too much money on those live spots, it could be bad. Larry throwing in here about the VIP chat. Yes, that is something that we want to implement very, very soon.
Details you guys got to let us know. I mean, is there a day and time that works best for you guys? Kind of want to get a consensus on that. Maybe we send out an email with a little poll and you guys let us know and we can tailor it for when it works best for everyone else. That would probably be best. And then we can start that anytime you want.
Absolutely. We do have a bunch of questions on the Ohio State, Penn State game here. There is a play in the portal on that game. So that is why we have not touched that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about it. I'm on Ohio State money line, minus 140 for 2 units. That's the game that the spread was 2.5. 2.5 point spread should be minus 155. I mean, yeah, I could see it being a close game, partly why I took the money line. Typically, I do take spreads and stuff in that situation. I know I haven't lately in some games, but it honestly, guys, just depends on the game. And a lot of these games that I haven't, we've lost, you'll see, by a point or 2 points. You got I mean, Tulsa, I took the +1. They lost by 2. Loyola took the +1, lost by 2. So a lot of these games with lines like that, I mean, that's what the book is telling you, is that it's supposed to be a close game, be around a 2-point game. So in some of those spots, like I usually don't do over minus 140, 145 on money lines to begin with, unless it's like a hockey money line play, rarely. So anything over minus 145, I always take the points and maybe buy a half point or something at minus 120. But like I said, a 2.5 point spread should be priced at minus 155. It's priced at minus 140. Ohio State's been really bad, guys. They're 1-13 straight up and against the spread in their last 14. But yet they're the favorite here. So, of course, the public is pounding Penn State on the spread. The line's reversed a little bit. It's up to 2.5 now. I got the money line at minus 140. It's minus 145, minus 150 now at some spots. So that's even going up a little bit. It's easy to want to take Penn State here. The better team, the team that's not 1-13 in their last 14 games, both straight up and against the spread. But I think Ohio State's favored here for a reason. It's a great buy low spot on Ohio State. What else do I got on this one? They failed to win and cover in 8 straight games in 13 of their last 14. 8 straight games they have not won or covered, and they are favorites here at home. And I think the reason they have not been covering is because they've been overvalued by the market all season. And now we're starting to see an adjustment. And now that's why I'm saying it's a buy low spot on them. Ohio State has been ass all year. They've sucked. They blow. They're one of the worst teams in the Big Ten, down there with Minnesota. And I think the line now, I mean, earlier in the year, this line probably would have been fucking Ohio State minus 6.5. I mean, I don't think you can argue that. And now it's at 2.5. I mean, with home court, you know what I mean? So I like, it's a buy low spot on Ohio State. And the reality is Penn State has been bad on the road. I know I got it in the write-up, but let me do the math again here. I think they're like 1-5 or something in their last 6 on the road. They just beat Minnesota on the road as 7-point favorite. They beat them by 7 points. But before that, they lost to Maryland on the road. They lost to Nebraska on the road. They lost to Purdue on the road. They lost to Rutgers on the road. They lost to Wisconsin on the road. They lost to Michigan on the road. So they're 1-6 in their last 7 road games. So Penn State has been ass on the road. I understand Ohio State is ass, but it's a buy low spot for them. Like I said earlier in the year, when they're overvalued, the spread would have been 6.5. Let's see. Now this is the first meeting between them, so I don't have nothing to compare it to. But I mean, this team was, to put it into perspective, earlier in the year in January, they're 15-point favorites at home versus Minnesota. And then now they're 7 points on the road. It's a pretty big swing. Put this way, Ohio State was favored by 1.5 versus Purdue on January 4th at home. And now looking back on that, you're like, how? They were overvalued. They're overvalued. And now we're getting pretty much the same line versus Purdue as we are versus Penn State. So it's interesting. It's correcting itself. But yeah, that's why I like Penn State here. So
let's cash it. Let's cash it, my friend. All right, let's move on to a little NBA here, because I've been shaking. I've been shaking over this break, man. So
and at Phil, there's also strength of schedule stuff in there. They played a weaker strength of schedule. Let me pull that up. Penn State. I just don't know all their strength of schedule and shit off the top of my head here, but let's see here. Penn State. Let's do it this way. So Penn State, strength of schedule. Ohio State's played the 24th hardest schedule in college basketball. Penn State's, I think, around 55, 60. So they've played the top 25 hardest schedule in college basketball. The Big Ten's got some good teams. And the Big Ten's one of those conferences that any team can kind of beat anyone. We've seen it. You got some good teams, Purdue, Indiana, Northwestern, Michigan State, Illinois. A lot of those teams can beat anyone. We just saw that with Michigan State the other night. I got a good game tonight with Northwestern in Illinois. But it's a buy low spot for Ohio State, and the public's all over Penn State. Just like you're thinking of, I can't believe you're on Ohio State. Well, and they're the favorite. The books know what they're doing when they're setting them as 2.5-point dogs, and everyone's biting. So we'll see. It's gambling; anything can happen. But all I need is Ohio State to win outright tonight. So
let's get it. Let's get it, man.
MSU. I just backed MSU versus Indiana, and they blew them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ohio State versus Michigan State. Yeah, but Phil, you're comparing Michigan State to Penn State. I don't compare Michigan State with Penn State at all. Michigan State is a lot better team than Penn State.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you don't agree with me, Phil, it's fine. It's all good, brother. You're not going to like everything I put out there, but we'll see who wins tonight.
We shall. We shall.
But if you're comparing, if you think Michigan State and Penn State are two equal teams, you're wrong. You're wrong there, and that should actually tell you everything about the play there. Yes, Ohio State was just -2 versus Michigan State, and now it's the exact same line versus a lot worse team versus Penn State. So we'll see what happens.
We shall. Let's move on. Not the only game on the slate today.
Yeah.
NBA. Let's talk NBA a little bit. You guys throwing any NBA games that you guys are looking at? Mike does have a 4-unit play on one specific NBA game. We mentioned it a little bit in the beginning of the show. So go on and get that if you want it. Mike, is there any game you specifically want to talk about? We could break every game down. I don't care.
Not really. I just got a two-team parlay, money line parlay, and then I got my 4-unit. And that's probably all I'm going to be on in NBA today.
Mm-hmm.
I love my 4-unit play. I like the 2-team money line parlay. I don't have any interest in the spreads on that one, but that's why I took the money line on both of them. Interesting spot is OKC, Utah. I think that's a really interesting spot.
Mm-hmm. Got a question on that from Kyle.
Everyone's on OKC. Sexton's out. Markkanen is in. I think some people thought Markkanen was out for a little bit, but he is playing. OKC's pretty healthy. Line opened at 3. It's at 1 now. Everyone's on OKC, but yet Utah's still a 1-point favorite at home. Both teams have quite a bit to play for. OKC guys, they can make the playoffs, which is wild, thinking that they're a team that would be tanking at the beginning of the year to get a good draft pick. So
yeah, legit.
Everyone.
Well, both of these teams are neck and neck, right in their division. I mean, they're neck and neck, separated by half game. So
it's a big game, and we got 22, 23 games left in the season. So every game matters now, especially with how tight the divisions are, or the conference. Especially in the West. I mean, you got the Lakers in 13th, who are 3.5 games back of a play-in spot, or actually, I think 3.5 games back of a 6 seed, if I'm not mistaken. So it's wild. It's going to be a wild finish here in the NBA. The games mean a lot now, especially for some of these teams fighting for their playoff lives, fighting for seeding, all that stuff. So, we talked a little bit about it on the last show. Some teams probably going to slide a little bit. Some other teams like the Mavs that should have the easiest schedule the rest of the way, that should be a little bit better against the spread. I'm not going to say second half because it's just 20-some games left, but post All-Star break. So
Mm-hmm. I agree. What we got here? Larry Stevens, over and under on that Grizz 76ers game.
I have no opinion on it. I can look here, but let's see. What's it at?
Let me
230 and
check.
a half?
Yeah, 231.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Over's getting all the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's moved up. TNT game. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no interest in it. Sorry, man.
Yep. Okay, Kyle. Pistons look like they have Orlando's number. Any thoughts about that game? Me personally, I think that line is very strong towards the Magic. And
Yeah.
I mean, I do understand that Orlando is playing, a little bit better basketball towards the end of the first half of the season there. Pistons beat them both times. Their last matchup, Orlando is actually favorited on the road -1. Got beat outright by the Pistons, 121-101. 20-point win. Now Magic flip coming home -7. So a 6-point.
You got to remember the Magic were pretty injured for a long time there. They're playing without 3-4 guys for most of the season so far. So finally getting healthy.
They were.
They're a young team. They're not good by any means, but I think in a couple of years, the Magic they'll be a playoff type team.
Yeah.
They got the rookie
Well, they got
of the year.
pieces. They got pieces, man. And even if they want to deal some off and maybe make a couple trades, they could maybe even do that. But
I like their
I don't know.
Their young core though. They got some good guys. They're just a couple pieces away. And
I
just
agree.
Experience, you know what I mean?
Sure.
They're pretty raw.
And I really like Banchero, man. Came over there. Great.
Rookie of the year, man.
Rookie of the year, man. Absolutely.
I think the odds are minus like 2,000 or something.
Yeah. It's someone will put money on that, and I hope it hits for him. But I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know if I can say that the Pistons have anybody's number. I don't know. As referring
they're just so inconsistent.
They are. They are inconsistent. +7. I don't know. It's not a game that I would attack personally.
If I was to attack it, I'd probably throw Magic money line in a parlay or something. But I don't like 7's a big number, even against Detroit. And you got to remember, guys, coming out of the All-Star break, you got to give it a couple games. I surprised myself how heavy I'm going off the first game out of the All-Star break, but it's just a spot that I love. So that's why I'm doing it. So
absolutely. Kyle saying with All-Star break, can't see Utah losing that game.
I don't know. It's tough to say OKC's overvalued when they're the best team in the league against the spread. So I don't know how you can say they're overvalued when they're the best covering team in the NBA. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't say they're overvalued because they were supposed to be a team tanking, and now they're in the playoff race. So I think they've been a pretty good surprise personally. But All-Star starter marketing, yeah. Well, OKC's got SGA. He's an all-star.
Yeah.
They got some pieces. OKC sneaky. They've been sneaky all year. They've been great at covering the spread. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but they're the best in the NBA at covering. So odds makers have really undervalued them all season, and that's why they've exceeded expectations and been a covering machine.
Yep, 35-21-1 ATS for OKC. Jazz also surprisingly good as well, man. 33-26-1. I think it's a tough divisional game. And I think the line says what it is right now. And
first I'm just not a fan of the Jazz.
First matchup of the year. right after All-Star break. I think that this is just one where, personally, if I was to bet it, I wouldn't, and I would just collect data on this first matchup of the year for these two. I really would. Raptors line. Lucas throwing this in there.
That's an interesting one. I think it's moved from 3 to 6. Pelicans, they're still banged up, no Zion. But 6 is a pretty big number. OG, questionable still, I think. Nance is probable for the Pelicans. But I believe before the All-Star break, Toronto's been heating up here a little bit. 5-1 straight up. Let's see. Yeah, 5-1 straight up in their last 6. 3-3 against the spread. I mean, I like Toronto to win this game, but I would have liked it at the -3. I would have been all over it, but at the 6 now, I can't touch it personally. This again would be a money line, in a parlay or something, the Raptors or something. But I have no interest at the 6. Toronto, they're 3-5 against the spread in their last 8 games, guys. They did cover versus the Magic before the break. And then before that, they beat Detroit. That was a Sunday game, I remember, because we were on the under, and that was looking good the whole game till the very end. They ended up winning that game by 1 point. It's almost a 12-point favorite. Game before that, they're an 8.5-point favorite, lost by 6 outright to Utah. And all these games are at home, by the way, too. And they're at home again tonight. And they've had a pretty easy schedule. I mean, yeah, they've won 5 of their last 6, but we're talking they beat Orlando, Detroit, the Spurs, Houston, and then Memphis. So a lot of those teams are, bottom feeder teams when you're talking the Spurs, Houston, Detroit. So it's really not that impressive. So I wouldn't buy into this. The Raptors are hot shit until they do it against a good team here, because they haven't done so yet. So
almost makes me like the Pellies.
Yeah, but it's true, right? I mean, you can't get caught up. You can't just look and say, okay, they're 5-1, they're hot. No, when you look at the teams they beat and you barely beat Detroit by 1 as a 12-point favorite. That's, to me, it's not impressive. You know what I mean?
I'm not buying into a 28-31 Toronto Raptors team. I'll tell you that right now. I don't care what their last stretch is. I just we've seen a lot of data from them already. They are
on the Pelicans. The Pelicans are 4-2 straight up in their last 6 and against the spread. Yeah, they got blown out by the Lakers, but before that, they beat OKC on the road as a 3-point dog. They lost to Cleveland. That's expected. But before that, the Hawks, Kings, and Lakers beat all 3 of them straight up. So, yeah, they're shorthanded, but they're kind of figuring it out here. I was actually on them, I think, a couple of those games. We pushed the Dallas one where they made that huge comeback.
Right.
And then I was on them another game after that, too. I don't remember which one, but I was on the Pelicans a couple times there. I just think 6 is too high. If I was to touch this game against the spread, it'd have to be Pelicans or pass for me. But I do like Toronto to likely win the game. So that's why I'm personally not touching it.
I agree. Let's see here. Let's stay on NBA for a minute. Franco throwing in Lakers versus Warriors. Any thought on Steph out, Wiggins out? Lakers roster.
So if you watch any ESPN, First Take, Stephen A. Smith, all that stuff, the Lakers got 23 games left. Stephen A. Smith thinks they need to go like 16-7 in their last 23 to make the 6 seed. They're talking now not even playing and actually making the playoffs. I don't know how likely that is. Let's pull up their schedule. That's something I haven't done. I'm not sure what their remaining schedule looks like, but I do like they got rid of the cancer. They got rid of Westbrook, Beverly. They got some new pieces. It's only been a game, so who knows? But I do like the moves they made. LeBron certainly seems and by the way, I'm not a huge LeBron fan. I respect him, but I'm not a big Brown fan. But he seems very motivated. If AD can stay healthy, I I mean, Bron, AD together here down the stretch. They got some new pieces. They got guys like Reeves. They're really good role players. I think they could easily make the play-in tournament. I think the odds on that are like minus 125. But I do think the Lakers make a little run here. I think the Lakers being in the NBA playoffs in some shape or fashion, whether it's the play-in or the playoffs, is good for the NBA. Bron wasn't in the playoffs last year. I'm sure the NBA kind of wants him in there this year too, after setting the points record and all that stuff. So I do think the Lakers make a little run here. Warriors have been ass on the road. Wiggins is out. Curry's out. Curry's been out now. He's going to be out for a little bit. But the Warriors haven't been that good when Wiggins is out. When he's in, he makes a big difference.
He does.
He's a big piece to that team. He's probably the most
Huge.
undervalued person on that team. Because when he's out, I mean, when Curry's out, yeah, obviously he's a big loss. But it seems like when Wiggins is in, they're a completely different team. So
I agree.
I think that spread also was maybe around -3 and ballooned up to 5.5 now.
6 now. 6.
6, yeah.
6.
So
it's a tough. It's a tough spot. I've been saying for the last 2 days, look ahead at these lines. Like I said, I've been just waiting for this day to come back. I've been saying Golden State. I don't like those narratives about the Lakers on how they need to come out. They need to, they need to win all these games, blah, 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 blah. Everybody's going to be on the Lakers. I get it. But I can see the Lakers
you got to pick
winning
and choose
this
your
game.
spots.
Exactly. I could see them winning this game, but are they going to cover the 6? I mean, you still got Poole over there, which we've seen him kind of take on a leadership point guard role when Steph's been out and he's been playing good minutes. Clay has really stepped up. He's starting to find his stroke a bit. The Wiggins being out is the hardest part of this game because they are a different team, like you said, when he's in there. Defensively, his post game, his mid-range game has just, it's just been so awesome to see
3-point shooting. Everything.
3-point shooting. Everything. It's been so great to see him bring his game up in Golden State. It's a tough game. I think I might have to still go with my initial lean, which is the Warriors +6. I might have to do it because I don't want to shy away from my initial thoughts. But I do see
like
the
the
Lakers
to win. This is another one of those possible money line pieces. So to me, I have no interest in a 6-point spread. Like part of it too is this coming out of the All-Star break. Weird shit happens. What I mean? There's guys that are rusty. Some guys were involved in the All-Star break and maybe are a little fresh, still kind of tuned up. Other guys haven't touched a basketball in 6-7 days until yesterday or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a little – you got to give it a couple games, get back in the swing of things. But I like the Lakers to win. I have no interest in the spread. And I think this will be a big game for the Lakers. I mean, if they come out here and dominate and win by 10 plus, it's going to say something moving forward here. So it'll be interesting to at least feel out this week and weekend and kind of see how these first few games go and set up the rest of the way.
I agree. The last game between these two, D'Angelo Russell did play. No LeBron. It was on the 11th, so not too many days removed here. Golden State was -5.5 in that spot. Lakers ended up winning 109-103, so an outright win for them as a dog there. The after All-Star break is the only thing that does make me believe that the Lakers will win the game, is because I believe that they are probably the most motivated team maybe in the NBA coming out of All-Star break. They got all these pieces. They're feeling good. They're gelling.
They're healthy.
They're healthy. LeBron is rejuvenated again mentally.
Cancer.
Hopefully AD is rejuvenated again as well, and they can really do something now. I like this new roster construction, and LeBron's been through a complete restructure after trade deadline before with Cleveland. I think he's going to have all these troops ready to go, man. So that's the only thing that is making me lean Lakers. as a win. I don't know about the spread here, and that's why it's probably just a collect data game. Some of these games are collect data games, and this might be one of them. This might be one of
It's a
them.
big game though for the Lakers against the Warriors at home. First game out of the break.
It absolutely is, man. One game I did want to touch on is that Celtics-Pacers game. Now, Mike, I don't know if you have anything on this, but
Nope.
I kind of like the Celtics first half. We've seen them play really well in the first half. Tatum, Brown, both played in the All-Star game. They're still in motion, where some of these guys on the Pacers, might have not touched a basketball for, a while. And
pretty much everybody.
Right. It is at 8, which if you look at their last game, the Pacers actually beat them outright as 9-point dogs. So a little bit of a revenge angle here for Boston, but Boston has higher hopes than the Pacers, obviously, this year. So I don't know if they necessarily care about the revenge angle with them. We've seen the Celtics drop spots against the Magic, almost, I think, maybe all of their spots against the Magic this year. But I do think that the Celtics could come out hot in the first half.
Well, do they have Horford, Smart, Brown, Tatum, and Williams all starting tonight?
I'm not seeing any injured player on the injury report as of right now.
So that'd be the first time in a little while. I think they've had all 5 in
Correct.
the same lineup.
Now, if that stays true, I could see this team coming out, tuning up, getting their mojo back, all as a fully healthy squad in that first half, maybe get a big lead, and that 8 might come into factor towards the end of the game. And we had a similar spot with the Cavs. You were on them first half, I think a week or two back against the Spurs. Spurs ended up covering at the
full
end.
Game.
Full game.
Yep.
But we hit the first half. I think this might be
and the first half was -9. It was -9. It was a big first
and we're
half
looking
spread.
at what? 4.5 right here for the first half for the Celtics. Is that the line?
Yeah.
I like it. I think they come out hot. I think they tune up because here's another thing. They do have the 76ers on deck on Saturday. So they're not going to want to just mosey around in this game.
That leads into another thing. What do you think of this? I think the Sixers are back just 2 games of the division. Plus 700, 7-1 for the Sixers to win the division. 2 games back. And they play Saturday.
Right.
It's plus 700.
It's a big game.
And teams don't really care about winning the division. They care more about their seeding and stuff. So,
right.
But still, just 2 games back and you're getting 7-1 odds.
Yeah.
You'd have to get that bet in before Saturday because if they, Sixers win straight up, that's going to be the odds will shift. I mean, right there. But something to think about. 7-1 odds.
And that 76ers game is on ABC. Traditionally, from what I've seen, Jason Tatum completely shrinks in all ABC games.
Oh my God. The Lakers, remember that one? The Lakers Celtics game?
Yep, with Pat Bev coming in the fourth quarter, dunking over everybody. I'm telling you, man, I like the Celtics first half today. I think it just all makes sense. It's all making sense.
I like it. I'm just hesitant just because it's the first day back from the break. And it's a road game, and you know what I mean?
Well, we're back
I
in
like
the
Celtics.
The Celtics were back in here. I ain't asking you to bet the Pacers now.
No, I know. I'm just weird about these first game back after the break, and
as you should be, as we all should be. This is not empty out your bankroll on the NBA tonight. As much as
because I could also maybe see the Pacers strong first half, and then the Celtics wake up in the second. I do like it. I'm not saying I don't. It's just I run all the scenarios through my head. So
sure.
It's
I just know what the Celtics have been doing in the first half. They've been doing it pretty much all. They've been doing it pretty much all season. Even their last game against the Pistons, they came out. They probably shouldn't even cover that game. They did cover it full game because the Pistons missed shots at the end of the game in the fourth quarter when the Celtics even turned the ball over at them at half just to cover the spot. But they did win that first half. I don't know what the line was on that game, but I like it. I like that spot. Nuggets Cavs also an interesting game as well. Get the Nuggets plus money.
Yeah, but they're on the road, man.
I know.
They're a lot better home team.
I know. I lean
First game
Cavs.
back. Oh yeah.
I lean
do
Cavs
too.
very strongly. Denver
Who picked up
minus
Kevin
5.
Love now?
Kevin Love's on the Heat.
He's on the Heat now.
He's on the Heat. Just another old guy to have that roster.
Yeah, I'd have to lead Cavs. I mean, Denver's also still adjusting to a bunch of new guys on their roster, and it's just a big break. And now you got new guys, and I'm not even sure how many games they've all played together. I mean, they just, you know what I mean? I'd have to lean Cavs here. That's probably my if I was to do another straight bet in the NBA today, it would be the Cavs.
Yeah,
that would be my next straight bet. So
I get it.
Everything else, man. I'm not really a fan of.
I get it. Their previous matchup on January 6th, Nuggets were favored by 5 at home. Now coming to Cleveland here. I believe Jamal is out. Aaron Gordon is out.
I think Murray's questionable.
Okay, so one day ago it's saying he was out. Maybe he's questionable now. Gordon will not play, according to ESPN. That minus 2.5. It's a 7.5 point line functionality from their last game. Strong to the Cavs here. I lean Cavs. I just want to see what.
Yeah, Cavs are healthy.
Yeah. I lean Cavs here. Nuggets on the road. They do need to get better on the road, though, the second half. So we'll see if there are additions of Reggie.
They got to do something in the playoffs, man. That's what they got to do.
This is the year that they do. This is the year that they do.
Well, we got that futures, so hopefully.
Hopefully, man. I can't wait. Mike saying, yes, they're all projected to play. I think he's talking about the Celtics there.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple more questions. Ryan, thoughts on the Bruins tonight?
I like the Bruins. If I was to play it, I'd play it in regulation. You should be able to probably get that around minus 110. I wouldn't lay minus 170 on it. Play it in regulation. I don't really ever do anything over minus 160. So I would play that one in regulation because I think that one's like minus 170, minus 175, something like that. But it's tough to go against the Bruins, the best team in the NHL. Playing the Kraken, who have been complete ass lately. If you saw that Sharks Kraken game the other day, just pathetic, just gross, getting shut out. Seattle's just so streaky. They're either winning 8 straight or they're losing 8 straight. It's just how they are. They have no offense right now. Goaltending has not been that good lately. And these are big games. They're talking about how that Sharks game was only a 1-unit play. I got minus 145. I think that shit closed at like almost 170. So we got a great line on that one too. Timo Meyer. Sharks had a couple of their main guys out. They're also dealing with a bunch of trade rumors and stuff. I love the spot for the Kraken that game, and they just completely did not show up. And they're talking about how important, if you look at the standings, how important the game is for them and all that. Well, they showed me nothing. So I would have no problem backing the Bruins tonight versus the Kraken. Bruins will likely be, in one of my unofficial parlays. I'll probably have a money line in something because I do like it quite a bit. So it's hard. You can't go against the Bruins, especially the streaky team like Seattle right now. You can't back Seattle. You got to not back them or fade them until they show you something, and they haven't shown me nothing yet lately. So,
yep. I concur. I do
Larry, like the Capitals tonight too. Ovechkin's back now. He just got back from Russia. He flew back Tuesday from his dad's funeral. They play the Ducks, who have lost 6 straight. Ooh. And the Ducks' problem is they've given up 6+ goals in 5 of their last 6 games. They've given up 6. So in their last 6 games, they gave up 4 goals once, and then they gave up 6 goals 3 times and 7 goals twice. Anybody who knows anything about NHL or paying attention to anything knows the Ducks give up a shit ton of shots on goal. It's also a spot where Washington's lost 5 straight. They've missed Ovechkin. He's back. They're at home. They've been at home for actually this will be 5th in the last 6 games, 5th home game in the last 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off of a bad loss to Detroit, 1-3. They've just lacked offense lately. But that's a good recipe for a team that's been struggling offensively. Getting their star back is to go against a team like the Ducks, who have been giving up 6-7 goals a game every game for the last 5-6 games.
Absolutely.
So it's a great spot to see Washington bounce back here. That one as well, you'd have to – that one I'd probably just take the puck line. I don't know what it's at, but definitely worth a little sprinkle. I mean, at the very least, get an empty net goal if they're not already up 2 or 3 at the end of the game. So,
Right.
But the Ducks have just been getting – I mean, they're just getting blown out. You can't give up 6-7 goals a game and win games. They lost their last one 1-6. One before that 3-4. Florida actually won in OT. That one they played competitive, but the ones before that 3-6, 3-7, 2-7, 3-6. They've covered the spread once in their last 6 games. So
Wow.
And now Washington, it's kind of a prime spot for Washington to bounce back, getting their star back, facing a shit team that gives up a ton of shots. Ovechkin probably have a big game back. So I like that.
I like it. Yeah, and a little storyline there for Ovechkin as well. You know, big game first back. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Here's one more question from Larry, UCLA at Utah.
Oh. Yeah. This one I haven't looked at a whole lot yet, which I don't know why. Let's dig into it. Utah, man. They can be decent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially at covering. Should be a defensive game. What's the total at? Yeah, 130. See, the thing about it's a big spread, especially for a low total game. I don't like betting bigger favorites like that with such low totals, because when you think about it, when you're seeing a total of 130, 7 points, when you think about it, is a lot of points with such a low total.
Right.
Utah's also at home. I mean, I like UCLA to win the game. Personally, I'm not touching the spread. I still think it'd be hard for me to put money on Utah. It's a no play for me, but I could also see the Bruins, beating them by double digits here too. So it's a tough one. It'll be one that I would pay more attention to watch for betting these two teams here in the future. Put it that way. So I can't touch it. I've talked about it before. Just these, let's see their. UCLA beat them as 13-point favorites. They beat them by 19 back January 12th. That total is 136.5. Bruins have beat them 5 straight, and one was by 2 points, one was by 5 points. The other ones were pretty much all 3 double digits. So it's a tough one, man. Let's see. Let me check one other thing. What do you like? Let me ask you that.
Me?
For asking about it. No.
Oh.
Larry.
I only watch our college basketball spots.
I mean, UCLA, they've won 6 straight. Utah's coming off 2 losses. Arizona State. I mean, you think it would be a spot that Utah could cover. You know what I mean? It's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one.
Sounds
Not
like
one. Yeah. I mean, if UCLA was at home, it'd be a different story. But
Yeah.
But UCLA's last home games, they beat Oregon by 7, Oregon State by 15. But before that, they lost to USC outright by 13 as 4.5-point favorite. They lost to Arizona, beat Arizona State. Let's see. Utah's been pretty good at home. I mean, their last 5 home games, they're 4-1. They beat Colorado, who's actually a decent team. Cal, whatever. Lost to Stanford, and then beat Washington and Washington State as well. And Washington State's a tough team. So man, I don't know. It's a tough one. Tell me what you like.
That 10 o'clock
Personally, I
window
can't
could
touch it.
Could be a potential chase spot for a lot of people.
Oh, I got us covered there. I got I think a total. Maybe it's at 9 o'clock. I got a late night total tonight that I like a lot. Might even be today's free play. We'll see. Actually, hold on. I have a play. Yeah, that's 9 o'clock as well. I have 2 9 o'clock plays tonight. One's a total, and then another one's a side. It'll probably be the one I have not posted yet that I'll post here right after the show. Should we talk about that game?
If you would like, sir.
This will probably be today's free play. Let me check one thing quick on this total one and see if that's changed.
We got Mr. Dupel in the house. What up, Mike? Good to see you here, buddy. No,
I like
them
to
think
win.
The Raps are a lock.
I think they're ever a lock.
Yeah, that we talked about it a little bit, but that -6 seems like a tall task, and I don't know if I trust that money line. I'm sorry, -255. I don't know. I lean Pelicans there +6.
The Pellies.
I do. I mean, is CJ and Ingram playing? I mean, I haven't seen nothing on them.
Yeah. No, we talked about that game.
We did. The more we have talked about it, it makes me lean Pelicans. It really, really does.
Oh, for sure. We're going to be on Cal State. So if you're VIP, I'm going to be posting this play right after this. But we're going back to Cal State Bakersfield tonight. +1 on the road. We just backed them versus Hawaii at +6 at home. They lost by 11. That game was way closer than the 11-point box score tells you. Cal State Bakersfield pretty much covered in the whole game until the very end. Here's the deal: is both these teams are in the bottom 4 in the Big West. And Cal State is 5-0 straight up and against the spread when facing one of these 4 bottom tier teams in the conference. They beat the same team, I think by 15, like a week or so ago. And Cal, so they're 5-0 facing bottom 4 teams in the conference. Cal State Northridge is 1-4 straight up and against the spread against those same teams. So this is kind of one of those situations. I think the wrong team is favored here. They're just a 1-point dog, so you're pretty much betting on them to win straight up here. Mm-hmm. Northridge is 3-14 overall in conference play. 10 of those 14, they've never led for 1 second. And we find them as a favorite tonight versus the same teams. It just doesn't make sense because they're 1-4 versus these same teams straight up and against the spread. And Bakersfield is 5-0 versus these same teams. So the line just doesn't make any sense at all. There is a ton. The only thing I can think of is why the line is what it is Northridge has a guy, Bostick, who's missed his last 7 games, who is questionable. He could return tonight, but I don't even give a shit if he does return because after missing, 7 games, it's like he's missed like a month, right? So he's going to be rusty. Even if he does play, probably not going to play his normal minutes, but I don't even think he plays anyways. So, but even if he does, I still like it a lot. There's a lot to like about it. Let's go back to the splits and see how that's changed from when I posted it. So they opened at 1.5. It's at 1 now. Bakersfield, 53% of tickets, 71% of the money. The money line's pretty 50-50. So they are getting some sharp money here as well. But I mean, it's just one of those deals. The wrong team is favored here. I mean, when you've had, what was it, 10 out of 14 losses, you've never led for 1 second, and not by more than 2 points when you have led. So it's a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
I found
Definitely.
that very interesting. And when
Yeah.
you just compare, when you just look at, okay, these two teams playing the same teams, one team's been just killing them, and the other team can't do shit. The line just doesn't make much sense. So
I agree.
But you know, a lot of people just look at records and all that stuff and don't deep dive into it and find out what the hell's going on. So
right.
Yeah. And that Bostick, he's their second highest scorer per game, so he's a pretty big loss to him. So we'll see if he plays today. Like I said, even if he does play, still on Bakersfield. So that'll be today's free play for 2 units. It's -110. So there you go. They're just a better team.
Love it. Let's cash
and they
it.
already beat this. They already beat this team by 15 points earlier in the season. So yeah, they're on the road now. And that spread was 4. So they're actually 4-point favorites at home and beat them by 15. Now they're 1-point dogs on the road. So interesting for sure.
Definitely.
And Northridge has lost 3 straight. So yeah, put it in perspective. Northridge just lost by 20 as 7-point dogs to Riverside. And Bakersfield, last time they played Riverside at home, they beat them by 6 as 9-point underdogs. So if you look at the two teams and who they played and everything, Bakersfield is just, they're a stronger team. And they're in a lot better form lately. Bakersfield is 4-2 in their last 6 straight up and against the spread. And Northridge has pretty much sucked all year. So
I love it, man. Let's cash it. Let's cash it. We got Sam in the house. What's up, buddy? Good to see you in here.
What's going on, man?
Good to see you in here. All right, well, that pretty much concludes today's show, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Mike, you got any closing notes?
We'll send out that email about the VIP show.
Yeah, you know, I'll throw up one of those. I'll throw up one of those polls that we had in there a couple months back for that one thing that we were gonna do. I'll throw one of those up in the portal so everybody will see it and everybody can vote, and we'll see. I know I forget who mentioned it in here, but they're saying we should do it every day.
That too, because then you guys can ask questions about the games that we're on. We can talk about them.
Yeah,
and it'll just be nice because that's obviously the games that I've dug into the most and can talk on the most too, versus asking me about random games I haven't looked at. So, so yeah, it'll just be good all the way around. But let's have a day. I like the card. I do. I love the 4-unit play of the day. I love that. Got a lot of other 2-unit spots. I think we have a good night in college basketball. I think we hit our NHL play, and I think it'll be a good parlay day. There's a lot of good parlay pieces today, and especially with NBA back now. A couple good NHL spots. So looking forward to it. At the end of the day, it's always gambling. Anything can happen, but especially that 4U, I fucking love it, man.
I love it too. I wish we could have talked about it. So that's why I'm excited for the VIP show, so we can talk about it, because I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's bounce back today. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, invest wisely and live freely.